So I'm going to begin just by asking what it was that initially attracted you to getting involved in this project.
Part of it was Karen co-wrote this film called Obvious Child, which I had seen and I had loved. And then I got the script for the short, and it was very, very funny, very different from anything that I had ever done before, and different from anything I'd seen in terms of what it was showing. And Alice, the character of Alice, who's kind of unlike anything I'd come across before. So I was excited to do something.
How is it playing sort of a student? Does it take you back? Because is it quite kind of nostalgic, sort of accessing those emotions? Because I guess in this, not just this film, but when you play kind of people of that age, it's loads of a time of loads of firsts, isn't it? So first loves, first experiences and stuff. So when you have to access that, can it be quite a nostalgic experience in some ways?
Yeah. I mean, that film for this, it was, I mean, Stranger Things as well is obviously very nostalgic for some, but yeah, for this film, it was just nostalgia all around. I mean, I was born in the 90s, but a lot of the concept of the internet kind of not really being what it is now, no iPhones, no social media, VHS tapes and like the Nokia brick phones. I mean, that was all really nostalgic. But then of course, yeah, going back to what it's like to eat in the cafeteria and like being in a classroom, wearing a uniform. Yeah, it's very nostalgic. I mean, this, of course, Alice is a very particular life and peer group and situation. But I think, just being around that energy, it kind of, yeah, it's really, for better or for worse, yeah, it's very visceral.
Yeah, because I mean, it's sort of your character's age is sort of the same age I would have been at school then, I guess. So I would have had those Nokia brick phones. Did you play?
Yeah.
Did you play Snake? Did you actually give it a go? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was a big part of my pastime.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember what your high score is? Not that I'm competitive.
No, I wasn't. The thing about Snake and games like Snake is I figured this out later in my life, just gave me a lot of anxiety, so I never really got that far in it, but it's this weird masochistic sense of a game, just just trying not to crash, and then you crash, and then the whole roller coaster. So I'm sure it wasn't very good. I don't think I had a high score ever.
And I was saying, because obviously I watched this with my wife, and she didn't go to a school quite as strict as this, but she went to kind of Catholic school, so she was able to relate to aspects of this. But do you think this film, because I related to it as well, even though obviously, again, it's so far removed from kind of my experiences, but do you think that because, this isn't specific, is it, to this sort of religious school? I mean, women have been denied of their kind of sexuality by men for forever, and I think, and women, and there's been men that have been suppressing women's agency and stuff since the dawn of time. Do you think this film can be is relatable to anyone despite people's upbringings and schools and stuff?
Yeah, no, I hope so. I mean, that's really what I got from it when I was reading it, was just that, yeah, it was really relatable, and I think you really hit the nail on the head. And I think women's journey within themselves to find their sense of sexuality and pleasure has been really confined or silenced, or shaped in a way that maybe didn't feel organic. I think a lot of women as well, it's either denying or telling you that this is what you need to be, or this is what you need to look like or feel like in our culture. And I think, yeah, I would hope that this film kind of, maybe relaxes or questions those concepts and stereotypes, I guess.
And obviously, I mean, there were some, even though there's a very kind of light tone to this, there was obviously some scenes that must have been sort of enjoyably awkward to shoot, I would imagine. But I was wondering how the film is to watch back for you. Is it fun?
Is it fun? To be honest, it's like I'm a kind of actor, like I do not like to watch myself. It's a really terrifying sense of self-actualization. So I avoid it as much as possible. I mean, I've seen the film a couple times, of course, and I think it's, it's fantastic. And you try to like remove yourself as much as possible. It is very weird to watch it. I think it's a lot easier to like talk about it and like to have that experience. And But yeah, watching it, I mean, this film, yes, of course, and you're also like constantly on the screen, so it's like, oh gosh. But yeah, in general, I just really don't. I get really weirded out by watching myself on the screen.
Yeah, because one of my favourite scenes, well, probably was my favourite scene, was the scene in the bar towards the end, but not to give away any spoilers. But I was just wondering about yourself, and I'm obviously just a bit of a tenuous link, but if you've ever had someone in the industry that's been similar to that character in this, and as a kind of someone who's as an older actress, perhaps, or someone who's really helped you along your path and sort of given you some sort of guidance in some ways.
Wow. I mean, yeah, a lot of them, I think anytime you get the chance to talk to, a veteran actor, or director's female, I think they always have nuggets of wisdom. I mean, I, didn't exactly have a mentor, but I feel like every woman that I've worked with and watched how they work has been really instructive and important and enlightening for me. I think it's a bit of, even watching Karen, and this was her first time directing, it was really like, wow, she's incredible and really inspiring, to be like, yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is what it's like to kind of take charge as a woman on a set. So yeah, I mean, lots of them.
Yeah, because what's it like? Because I guess for you, because obviously, given your age, you'll often be one of the younger sort of performers on set. But when you're on Stranger Things, is there almost a sense of, the opposite sense of responsibility? Because when you're with the guys, you're one of the older heads in a shoot. What's that kind of balance like for you?
Yeah, our show's set up in an interesting way that we kind of have. I mean, obviously there's the adults, and then there's the teens, and then the kids. So that's kind of shifting, it feels like. I think the thing is, I feel like a lot of times if you're the younger one on set, you kind of try to, quickly mature yourself to reach this level of maturity on the set. But I think what's so beautiful about Stranger Things is that the kids were really the heart of the show, and I think everyone kind of opened up a little, and it became I think everyone kind of aged down a little bit, and everything became a little more playful. But yeah, I mean, it's great to work with the kids, and they're kids, I keep calling them, they're teens. And it's been fun to watch them grow, and they really, handle themselves so well. So yeah, I think it's more than anything, I think they helped us just feel a little younger on set.
And obviously everyone's anticipating and looking forward to the next season. I mean, what's it like for you when you're waiting for those scripts to come in? Because is it quite exciting, but also quite nervy to know that your character's kind of fate is in the hands of the writers? And I know they're obviously incredibly brilliant and trustworthy, but is it always, when you get those screenplays, is it almost like, oh my God, what's going to happen to Nancy?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's always really exciting, and also the scripts read so well. They read like books, and I think you just, they're page turners. Yeah, I think that, in some ways, because it's such an ensemble, and it's so piecemeal, it gets, you have to fight the hesitation to just like skip to be like, but then what happens to me? But then what happens to me? But then you start reading the stuff in between. You're like, but what happens to them? But what happens to them? Yeah, it's just structured so well. But I think there's anticipation. I think there's more excitement than nervousness, because I really do at this point trust the brothers and the writers' room to give Nancy. They've only shown me, great things for Nancy, so I just expect nothing less at this point.
How do you find the kind of keeping hold of the secrets and the spoilers? Because I guess obviously you'll be, I'm imagining, I'm just guessing, because if I was like one of your oldest friends, I'd be badgering you every day for like secrets and spoilers. Do you have to sort of fend off your friends and family and try and keep it to yourself?
No, mostly just the journalists, I think. I think
just people like me.
Friends and family don't. I don't think I think they don't want the spoilers so much, or at least they don't, or maybe they just know that I'm not going to say anything about it. They just know that Netflix is really under lock and key. But yeah, I think, it's much easier to just have a policy of like, I really just can't say anything, than starting to kind of be like, well, maybe. But you get asked a lot, and you're like, oh, it's just, I know it's good. It's gonna be really good. Just wait.
So my very final question was just about kind of what's next for you then, because obviously we've been in this global lockdown and stuff. Have you got anything kind of that was paused midway, or anything resuming when you go back to normal?
Yeah, well, this season I think is like the next. And the truth is, it takes, we barely got started when everything kind of shut down. So it's really, that's whenever it goes back is going to, I assume, take up a good chunk of my time. And I think, yeah, 2020's really taught me not to plan too far ahead. I think it's really, maybe you can have some ideas about what you want to do, but really just don't marry them because we have no idea. We just don't know. So I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm excited to get back to this season whenever we do, and then just see where we are.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys.